On episode 614 of the 40 Plus Fitness podcast, we meet Sergio Padron and discuss some of the more recent medical interventions for weight loss. You can find the full show notes for this episode at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/614. Have you decided you're ready to make a change? To reclaim your health and fitness? The 40 Plus Fitness podcast is here for you. Each week, we dive deep into health and fitness topics that affect those of us over 40. I'm Coach Allen. I'm an NASM certified personal trainer with specializations in corrective exercise, behavior change, performance enhancement, and fitness nutrition. A Precision Nutrition Level 1 coach, a FAI certified functional age-linked specialist, and an OTA Level 2 online trainer. Each week, I'm joined by our co-host, Coach Rachel. She is an NASM certified personal trainer and a RRCA Level 1 run coach. Let us be your coaches as you find your way on your health and fitness journey. All right, let's go. Are you a woman who wants to get stronger but has a few questions? Will you get big and bulky? What is the best way to build strength as a woman? Should you lift the same as a man? How do you get started? I'm proud to announce that I'll be a featured speaker on the free online summit, Women Stronger with Age, on November 2nd from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time, hosted by Amanda Mackey. I should be going on around 10 a.m. Pacific. Go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/Amanda to join us on this wonderful strength summit for women. I'll be joined by some of the best coaches and trainers helping women get stronger and find ageless vitality. Learn more at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/Amanda. Hey, Raz. How you doing?
Hey, good, Alan. How are you today?
I'm good. Glad to get into this week. We got a lot going on here. Just some fun stuff, or should be fun. We had a chili cook-off this weekend. And,
fun.
Well, it could have been.
Oh, no.
Well, no. Okay. I was responsible for the chili, and I really put a lot into the chili. In fact, if you know me, okay, guess what? There was nothing out of a jar, box, can, bag.
Good.
It was from scratch all the way through. Okay.
Awesome.
Everything was all the way through. There were no cans. Only thing that was in a can was the beer. I do use some dark beer in there. And that did come from a can, but that's all that came from a can. All the tomatoes, I made my own tomato sauce beforehand. I had everything cut up, ready to go. And, the folks that we hang out with here, they're a little bit more on the party side. And so they just wanted this to be a big party. And so they were busier partying than they were focused on the fact that there was a second competition besides the best booth. And so they were so dedicated to best booth that everything else just sort of got tossed to the side. So we did win best booth. I had very little to do with that other than wearing a costume that was hot and uncomfortable for about 3 hours. But it was one of those things. So I didn't place, still had a great chili. I've got some leftovers. So that's good. But, it's just one of those things when I guess, hindsight being 2020, if you care about something, then you want to make sure that it's a no-lose proposition. Set the odds in your favor.
Sure.
And being a part of this group was definitely not putting the odds of winning the chili competition in my favor.
Oh, no.
It was, winning the booth. Absolutely. These guys were handing out Fireball Jello shots and everything else, which I don't know if you've ever tasted a lot of cinnamon at one time. Anything you eat after it. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was the impression people had of my chili was, ooh, this doesn't go very well with Fireball.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was what it was. It's over. I learned from it, move on. I had a good time otherwise. And, go on. But, and then I do want to say something. I am going to be on a kind of a panel thing. It's a summit, and it's called the Women's Strength Summit.
Oh.
Okay. And the title of this, or basically the theme of this, is Women Stronger with Age. At least that's my theme as I go into my part of it. And so this is going to be on November 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's going to be somewhere around 10:30, 11:30 on that day. I'll be being interviewed live, and there'll be a Q&A.
Wow.
It's Amanda McKee that's putting this all together. And so if you're interested in getting it, I believe it's completely free. It's on November 2nd. I think she may be recording it. You may have to pay a little bit just to have access to the recordings, but I will be on the Women's Strength Summit, and you can learn more at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/Amanda. Again, that's 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/Amanda. That will take you to the page where you can get more information about the Women's Strength Summit. And as I said, I'm going to be one of the key speakers there, going on sometime mid-morning. So you can check that out. And again, it's 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/Amanda.
Sweet.
So,
That sounds awesome.
yeah. So what's going on there?
Well, I think you planted the seed with chili, Alan. So over the weekend, we made a huge batch of chili ourselves, and we've enjoyed it over the weekend. And I put a bunch in the freezer so I can pull it out throughout the winter. That's the fun part about making chili, is you can overdo it, freeze it, and it's there when you need it, when it's super cold up here in the winter time.
Food prep. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was awesome. Thanks for the idea.
Well, good. All right. So are we ready to have a conversation about these new weight loss drugs?
Sure.
Our guest today is the founder and CEO of MD Exam, a company that specializes in the latest weight loss approaches. He is passionate about helping people make lifelong weight loss a reality. With no further ado, here's Sergio Padron. Sergio, welcome to 40 Plus Fitness.
Pleasure to meet you, Alan. Thank you very much.
I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today, because this topic, some of the medications, some of the things we're going to talk about today, I want to call them medications only because that's my vernacular, and you're probably going to correct me later, but we can talk about what they are and why they're effective. But I want to talk about these because they're becoming more and more prominent. There's more and more people who are being introduced to them. I mentioned it to my wife today, and she says, well, what is that? And then when I started talking to her, she says, oh, that's the Wegovy stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's what that is. So it's starting to kind of bubble up, and a lot of people are seeing it. And I think for a lot of people, it looks like, wow, this could just be the magic thing. I don't have to exercise. I don't have to eat right. I can just take shots, and there I am. And so, but it's much more than that. But there's a lot of value here. And so your company, MD Exam, I got on the site, kind of went out there. You have a kind of a quiz. It's a longer quiz that really does help someone narrow down where they stand in this. And you don't just go at this with one hammer solves all problems. You have different levels and different things that people can choose and look at from their particular needs, not just one size fits all. And I really appreciate that, because I think too many times people think, oh, there's one solution, there's one answer for me, I'm going to do what everybody else does. But you've broken it down on your website that there are particular reasons that you may or may not want to use a different approach. And you've kind of lined that out in your website. So the first thing I want to kind of get into is let's talk about these things: Ozempic, Wegovy, and Rybelsus.
Rybelsus.
Yeah. Now, those are one type of product, and they're built around a product called Semaglutide.
That's correct.
Like that. Okay. Yeah. I'm not really good with medical terms. So
you're good. You're good. And neither am I. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a clinician. I'm just an entrepreneur with some very smart medical people around me.
Yeah. So let's talk about what those are and what they're doing for us.
Okay, perfect. So let me jump into that real quick. So one of the biggest things that we try to do at MD Exam is make sure that if you're coming to us to lose weight, first and foremost, let's not jump into the game about losing weight because it's a fad. We got to lose weight because you want to lose weight. You need to make a change in your life. A lot of people, and I say this because my education level in this is what's kept me in this business long-term wise. We're up and fighting against a lot of people that need to understand, because there's a lot of questions. You see them everywhere. It's like, what is this? What does it do? How does it work? Semaglutide triggers GLP-1, which is a gastric-like peptide, which what it does is it sends, and we're doing this in layman's terms, you eat, as soon as you got glucose, sugar goes into your body tears it down, breaks it down, It identifies what type of sugar goes into your body, common or simple. And we go down two different routes. One of the routes it does is it triggers and goes into your stomach, and it triggers the incretin hormone, the GLP-1. And what that does is it sends a trigger to your brain mentally wise when you're full, when you've eaten enough, and it says, hey, Sergio, stop eating, you're full. And what happens, you know how America is, we eat till, hey, you get a plate of food, when you eat it all.
Starving kids in India,
Absolutely, you can't leave anything on the floor. And that's good and bad, but there's something that has to be taught here, which is how much food is good for us, how much calorie intake is good for us. And that's a whole other topic, because 2,400 calorie intake for females are like 26 to 2,800 for males. At the age of 30, if you follow that rule, which is like the healthy, you fall into what America is obese. Almost 80+% of America is overweight. Obesity has overtipping 46%. The biggest epidemic right now in America is child obesity. That's got to start with education, Alan. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to educate and help people. A lot of people say, hey, this is compounded, this is this and that. I think we need to understand, I'm not here to fight big pharma by any means. I'm here to educate people, help people get this, what they want to call medication, which is a polypeptide. Let's be realistic. I am a patent holder. Our company, we do have a chemical company. We are a patent holder. We're a patent holder 16,700, and we're in that range there. So you can look us up if you want to find out. So we've gone the level. We've gone the extra. By the way, we do have 1,250 state licensed doctors on board. We have 8 nurses, ARPs or RNs, 3 clinicians, and we have a staff behind us to try to support as much as we can to everyone who joins us. Because my goal is the following, Alan. If we could help them lose weight by making changes that they have to make every day with either one of the 2 products, let's make sure everyone understands. Wegovy and Ozempic are the same medication. That is semaglutide. It was created so that a doctor could never be charged. I'm calling a spade here, I'm sorry. Can never be charged for a whistleblower process, class action lawsuit, which we saw in the past, right? What was the biggest side effect to this, test for diabetics was weight loss. So if doctors were going to write a weight loss medication script, let's create and write it to Wegovy. But Wegovy did not have the $25 copay. Only Ozempic did. So if you don't have the $25 coverage because you don't qualify for pre-diabetic or diabetic, you didn't have access to this. And that's where companies like myself step in. And we have other, competitors that have stepped in, and we're all trying to do the right thing at the end of the day. Our insurance companies are being really battered in this space, and I want to make sure that everyone has access to it. Why is it so expensive? It's not, this is $1,600 we're charging our insurance companies. And this isn't what this conversation is about. My conversation here is, our company slogan is lose weight, feel great. So there is today a product on the market in semaglutide that works on 7.5 out of 10 people that will help you address what has never touched the U.S. market before, a product that works. Okay.
So just to take a step back to help folks, a polypeptide, if you don't know, is basically a series of amino acids. And basically, it's in a structure that functions very much like a particular type of hormone. It may be missing a piece or something like that, but it still generally functions. So when he's talked about hormones and he's talked about these, that's basically what's happening is you're communicating to your brain that you're already full.
That's correct. And that's where it starts. So that works pretty well. We see on, like I said, 7 to 10 out of 10 people. And what happens? Everyone works a little different. Some people feel it in the first week. Some people feel it at week 3, but we monitor our patients by week 3 to 4. If you're not feeling that, that little change, and everyone's a little different. This has nothing to do with weight, size, color, gender. I've seen it all. I've seen someone who's taken, a quarter milligram too much and has had a side effect, what you want to call the half-life of this for every 10 units, 7 days. Had a 22-day uncomfortable. The only way to fix it, you need water. Water is the only way this works. And then I've had people who've accidentally taken a whole milligram CC. And you know what? How do you feel, Mary? I feel fine. Perfect. Tomorrow, Mary, you're going to get a phone call from one of our nurses to follow up, make sure I'm fine, right? Absolutely. My biggest thing in this, there are no shortcuts. As you know, Alan, you yourself being a trainer in the space, I tell and I preach, I've hired every single one of my employees. We do believe in a culture here. My culture is about exercise. There is no magic pill. This thing about phentermine and these other past medications, these quick solutions, there's no quick solution to losing weight. It didn't come overnight. And it doesn't, like I tell everyone, I can help anybody lose weight. My goal isn't just to help you lose weight, it's to help you keep it off. That's the key. And that's where the habits have to be created.
Yeah. And we're gonna dive a little bit into nutrition and exercise later. But so basically if someone's not hungry, then they're obviously not as interested in eating. So they eat a little less or eat less, they start to lose some weight. Now, there's a couple different things that I've heard about it. Some of these are relatively rare. Some are a little bit more common. So, the rare one would be, that there's some issues with your stomach and you don't tolerate it well. And that could cause, a little bit of problems. And even if you stop taking it, potentially little problems down the line. Could we talk about that? And then the other side of it, which again, I think we'll get into with the nutrition and exercise, is if you're not eating enough, if you actually tried to just starve yourself and not eat at all, you're not just going to lose body fat, but you're also going to lose lean muscle mass and potentially bone density and some other things. So let's talk about the kind of the problem with the stomach first, and then we'll pivot over and start talking about muscle mass and lean body mass.
Perfect. And let me jump into that. That's a great topic. I live with it. I suffer from this, the stomach side issues. So if you starve your body, and a lot of Americans suffer from, very simple gas. Gas is created from the lack of food sometimes, and I could go into some more medical terminology, but let's make it simple. A lot of times when you don't eat a lot, if you don't eat food or eat the wrong foods because there's a restriction of, intake or wanting to eat, it can create all sorts of gastric little issues in your stomach and your intestines. And that's where it starts, okay? I've preached to people always, you have to put a little something in your stomach. People say, I can't eat. You need to find a little protein bar. You need to find a little something, because that's what you get. Is that a common side effect for everybody? Negative. It's not. Between that and the headaches, those are typically the two biggest. Nausea is typically the first, and the headaches are the second. The biggest thing is what we try to do is make sure is how much water are you drinking? Realistically, the majority of the time, people are not drinking enough water. And if you want to ask me on how much water do you need to drink as an individual, you need to make sure when you go to the restroom and you do number one, it comes out clear. And if you're taking vitamins, it's one thing, but people understand it. You need to be hydrated. Come on, because hydration also takes a big effect on how your stomach functions and your intestinal functions. And then that goes into a lot of what you've been hearing out, a lot of stuff about stomach paralysis and this and that. How many subjects are we talking about? We're talking about feeding millions of people here. We're not talking about deaths. We're talking about losing weight is not easy. It's not fun. It's a challenge. It's a lifestyle. Doesn't come overnight. That's where the education comes in here. The education is critical to understand. I tell people all the time, don't come in here I want to lose weight in 30 days. We're not the right program for you. I see it in our, we do some very interesting meetings and pull out these clouds, and we get all this stuff like, I took a shot last week, I didn't lose any weight. But on the contrary, we do have people that say, hey, I took a shot last week and lost 9 pounds. I have thousands of those,
right. Yeah. And then that's kind of point is everybody's going to react differently.
And I'm scared of those, Alan, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm scared of those because those are the people that really, they got to work at making sure that, hey, this wasn't magic. Right. It's just like everyone's body's different, and realize that because your body was affected a little different and how you break down, this peptide inside your body and how it affects your peptide. That's the key to understanding. And that's where we are trying to different. And as we grow our business, that's where we are leading to.
And so at MD exam, they're going to have access to nurses and doctors to be having these conversations of, I'm feeling this is going on. And they're going to get that guidance and education.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Cool. Now there's another product, and this is sort of what I guess you kind of call this. This is the ultimate one. Okay. So this is the newer one, I think. I think it's newer, but they kind of came up around the same time. And it's called Mounjaro.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is a different polypeptide. It's called Tirzepatide.
Tirzepatide.
Okay. And so it works a little differently. Can you talk a little bit about that one and why that one would be a little bit more of an intense treatment?
So, okay. So as we know, everyone's hitting immediately. How do I take that shortcut? How do I get to that shortcut?
Oh, right. And I'm telling them not to take the shortcut, but I'm just saying it's just knowing that there's a higher level treatment. And this is not about vanity. So, I hear tons about how this is the biggest thing that's hit LA and forever because, you're about to do a photo shoot and you want to drop those 9 pounds. And well, that actress or that model did it. It can seem like that because that's how, some people are going to use it. But the reality of it, we're a health and fitness show. And the principle being is if you're really struggling with, obesity and the other comorbidities that come along with it, this is a tool. And so knowing the tool and knowing what the pluses and minuses are of a tool is valuable. You don't want to take a hammer when you need a screwdriver. And I think that's the point, is that maybe one of these is the screwdriver and the other is the hammer, but you've got to define what you're trying to accomplish.
Well said. And let me jump in there because I'm gonna, if you want, let me give you a little bit of both so people understand how this works. Because I go through this all the time with people, and they think bigger is better, and and I think very few people understand this like I do. My sister-in-law is that person for Eli Lilly, FYI. So I had a past Christmas at my house with 6 of her friends that were not happy people. Why? Because my sister-in-law they all want to lose weight. They're all qualified. She hit him up immediately with Mounjaro, Tirzepatide. Okay. 2 of them it worked on. 4 of them were miserable at my house for Christmas Eve. I sat there and talked to them for a while. I love to hear feedback because the more I get, the more I could help. So where are we going to go at this? Semaglutide is a 1 peptide, is a GLP-1. Tirzepatide, which the brand name is Mounjaro, it will be approved for weight loss. It is already on the books for approval. It is approved, but it hasn't verbally been said. And you can look it up, you see it yourself. But that triggers 2 peptides, the GLP-1, which is the semaglutide, and the GIP, which is the gastric inhibitor peptide. Those 2, and I'm going to go back down on what you said. It's the screwdriver versus the hammer. Okay. Great model. I love it there. We want to help people minimize their caloric intake, which is something else I'm going to talk about, CRM, which hasn't been spoken about in this space, it's massive. But we want to make sure that people have some food. Tirzepatide, it kills your hunger to the majority of people. Again, it's not the same on everybody. By week 5 in our program, if you haven't hit that 4 to 6, 7 pound change or percentage in your weight loss, we typically move you to Tirzepatide. And we've been very successful with about 90% of those. We do not allow anyone to start on Tirzepatide unless you come with an understanding or we have information that you already took it. So do people lie and try to get around it? Yes, absolutely, all the time. Do I have?
Oh, no. People aren't going to lie.
No, why? Why would they lie? I can say, not to say, but we do have a lot of famous people.
Yeah.
Across the board. I talk to males and females, primarily females. I'm a person that's accessible. I want to help people. When people say, "Oh, you took my money," this is what happened. If there was so much business, what happened was when Novo Nordisk pulled a $25 copay, everyone got backed up. Our company went from a 3 to 4 day delivery turnaround time after your consultation to a 55-day turnaround time. I'll take the blame for it. My setup just outgrew us real fast. We're there today. And we're not only going to help as many people, but there's 144 million Americans that need our help. How can we help them? Semaglutide and or Tirzepatide today are expensive through big pharma. They're getting more and more economical. And a lot of them, you do have to find out, do your homework. Just don't buy it off the corner of the street. Buy from someone who has credibility. Our company is legit script certified. You cannot just go buy your legit script certification. That allows us to mass market as a pharmacy, because we do have a physical pharmacy ourselves in Texas, 503A, sterile pharmacy and a non-sterile. We do specialize as well, Alan, in rapid dissolvables. Rybelsus is a product that Big Pharma came out with. The problem is you have to take so much of it because it has to hit your stomach. We made a rapid dissolvable that's a couple other facilities in America are making it because it helps people. Because a lot of people that don't want the injection, they take a couple of these tablets daily dosage.
But, well, I think that's a key point I missed before. I should have put that in the plan. Is that this is not just a shot. There are pill versions, there are oral versions of it as well. Okay, cool. Now, up until now, kind of the final go-to for someone who was obese was they'd go to their doctor and explain to their doctor they can't lose weight, and the doctors realize, okay, there is a fundamental problem here. They would go to bariatric surgery, lap bands, things of that nature, surgery, either to actually cut the stomach or to actually just put bands to restrict the size of the stomach. As a result, someone wasn't capable of eating as much, and then that kind of got them to losing weight because they would eat a little bit and be full. And obviously, if they followed through with that, everything's cool. But most people tend to eat a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and they've still got the food issues and things like that. Can you kind of give us some of the pros and cons of these polypeptides relative to bariatric surgery?
Absolutely. Okay, so two things here. Bariatric surgery will be going away. That'll be a thing of the past. In the next technology here has taken tremendous leaps. AI teaching Big Pharma the ability on how to create and manufacture medication at levels and speeds that we were never able to. The next 60 months, supposedly there's about another 25 to 35 peptides in the works. And some of them are Tirzepatide is what we are seeing now. There's 3 others, another one by Eli Lilly, 2 in phase 2 by Pfizer, and there's somebody else. But almost every big pharmaceutical company in America has got a name brand, will have a product that will outdo anything bariatric surgery could ever do. So my answer to you, Alan, this will be gone. But let me just say one more thing. This today is a very expensive product and or solution because the educational level, I got to tip my hat to Novo Nordisk, the educational level that they have put out on the market space is worldwide is phenomenal. Okay. But they're also, you've seen they've become one of the, the most valued companies in this world overnight. But I will say one thing to this is that if people don't understand that minimizing your caloric intake is an issue, we'll never get to the next level. Because you said it, you made a very good point. The bariatric surgery, where does it go? It's a lesson. You need to adapt your body to it. If you don't change those habits and you don't make that effort, if you don't make that lifestyle change, it's an issue. And let me go back to one thing you said. It's easy for me sometimes, you may say, to sit here and talk a lot about this. People say, "Oh, you don't know what it is because you're not overweight." Blah blah blah. I'll tell you one thing, my friend. I think the biggest thing in America is wearable depression. It's the number one mental health problem in America. You wear it 24 hours, 7 days a week. Trust me, I'm out there to help people. People say, "Oh, you took my money." I give medication away all the time. If you can't afford it, I'll work with you. Our company works with you. You know what I'm saying? What I don't like, and let me tell you one of the biggest things that I do, talking about bariatric surgery, let's nip something in the butt real quick. I've had 2 patients in the last 4 months that are a 16 and a 17-year-old female. Both parents have been ridiculed because in our state, you have to be 14 years old to have bariatric surgery. That's a big step for a parent to take for a child, a massive step. Those parents came to me, as I do have many other parents that have come to me. And I think the biggest thing that makes me smile in this business is the smile that I put on people's faces when they see that their lives get changed by losing 2 pounds, 5 pounds, 40 pounds, whatever your goal is, it changes. These 2 females that came to us both came back almost all their weight. They've both been on a program here for about 6 to 8 months. One's like 7 months, the other one's almost done. Because the idea here is to wind yourself into a maintenance program. I don't believe in the philosophy like you should drive this up to the top. It doesn't work and you're taking 2.4 milligrams. No, no. Type 1 diabetics. We have 3 dozen type 1 diabetics that this is knocked out this side of this. I don't want to get into the medical side of this, but the bariatric surgery, if it's helped you out, and there's people that have gotten beyond phenomenal success with it. So I'm not knocking it. But they do charge our insurances and a tremendous amount of money. You put your body through a tremendous amount of hurt. Okay. And that hurt comes from building tissue now inside your body. So now you are a person trying to cope with the recuperation of surgery. If you mentioned something earlier, at the time of eating is critical. The cortisol, the fight or flight, the whole thing, where's your body storing foods and blah, blah, blah. We go into all that, but there is a room and, everywhere to make this work. There's room for semaglutide. There's room for tirzepatide. Bariatric surgery is very tough. I don't want to take doctors' opinions away because I'm not a doctor. I'm sure there's many doctors who would disagree with me and say, hey, no, you're wrong, Sergio. I'm not a doctor, but I do have some clinicians and I understand this very, very, very well. I do know that this should be affordable to everyone. And Alan, I promise you this, in the next 4 to 5 years, the positive results we have from these two products alone, and semaglutide and tirzepatide, will change the way people look at each other, the risk factor levels cardiovascularly wise. And I tell you what's bothering everyone in America and all over the world is that when enough people take it and it minimizes their ability to eat or want to eat and makes them healthier, because it's proven everywhere, they don't like that. Because for the first time in history, I think in 1 month, these last couple of months, beverage sales are down, food sales are down. When you touch the scales at a very small percentage, they don't like that. But 5 years from now, this will be dirt cheap because the risk level, you want everybody on it, right? Your cardiac level has been proven now. It goes, it increases by 25%, so what we're trying to do is help the person who can afford it and help the person who can't by educating them one way or another. Our company does not bill insurances. We're a fee-for-service company only. But I will tell you this, I sell it as inexpensive as anybody in America. It's not because we sell a product. We're partnered with the 10 largest 503A and B pharmacies in America, along as we own our. So it's critical for us to make this work.
So now, again, I want to kind of bounce back to the concept of, okay, I'm not eating or I'm not eating nearly as much as I used to. This makes nutrition really hard because, we need vitamins and minerals from our food. We need essential amino acids. We need essential fats. These are things our body cannot make for itself. So we're going to need some level of nutrition. How do we counsel someone to eat enough where they're getting a proper nutrition when, quite frankly, they just don't feel hungry because they're reacting the way this polypeptide is encouraging them to react?
Very good question. That is a very good question. And I think that's, I'll be honest with you, I think that is a tricky question. And I'll tell you why. Because we get all sorts of responses. They're across the board. We have people that say, hey, I was doing great. Everything was great. And all of a sudden I just fell off the wagon. What do you mean? Well, some people's inabilities to eat cause some of the cons that we talked about before. So finding and understanding from the get-go that you're going to have to find a way to change your eating habits and make sure they work. Because we do know where this next question is going to go to. If you don't eat properly, how do you make this effective and so much in the word that it's conducive for you, that you're not tired? Because if you don't eat, you don't get the right nutritions. This is a snowball effect, right? Understand at the end of the day, I'll be like, oh, I'm tired. So we do have to understand that. And I think it's one of our biggest things that we try to teach. And we're going to continue to teach and finding people like yourselves and partnering up with, everyone has a different way of thinking about how you are going to change this. people say, how do we know when and how? Everyone's different. But I will say something I've read, and I try to do as much reading as possible. We get thrown out all sorts of stuff. Finding some type of protein bars, some type of bars, because they're available everywhere. These energy bars, protein bars, granola bars, they're crucial. They're crucial. I say these little bites, it's not eat it. No, I know it. I get it. Take a bite. Take a bite every couple hours. Put a little timer every 2 hours, 120 minutes. No, you need to. I get it. So we need to make those changes. Those are habits. Those couple minute habits. It's the same thing. If you are not willing to exercise, I don't want you on this program. I don't. You're going to fail. I'm setting you up for failure. And that's where the nutrition comes in here, because let's get to that point. Let's get there and we'll deal with that. And that's critical here, because if you're not going to drink water and you're not going to do that part about exercise, and when I tell people exercise, I go very, very clear when I tell people, get up 15 minutes earlier, 20 minutes earlier. You don't need to join the gym. This is free. No, you don't understand. I'm 280 pounds. Not a problem. What do we got to do? How much do you do today? Where are your goals? I have people that have lost 120 pounds in a year with us and have been off now the program for 90 days and have not gained but 5-6 pounds. We're doing all sorts of surveys, tests. We are going to be running some interesting stuff now. So going back to your point and touching base on the nutritional factors, I think understanding that people like yourselves and education and knowledge about how do I continue to help myself while I'm on a program like this. And I say program, that's sometimes taken the wrong way.
Yeah. So, well, quick question. This is just a curiosity question from my perspective, because one of the ways I've personally used, and I've worked with various clients, is on the low carb keto scale.
Sure.
And so it would seem to me, if someone's not eating, they're effectively, I don't want to say mimicking fasting, they are fasting effectively. Do you find that your patients tend to get into ketosis? Is that where they end up from burning the body fat to have the energy and operate?
You know what? That's a very good question. I'm not going to tell you yes or no. I've heard and seen some interesting results we've seen, but I don't want to tell you yes on that. That is true. Can they fall into it? Absolutely. Are we trying to identify, hey, what's the best way? Because remember, the way I feel and the way you feel and the way we both take our avenues is not right nor wrong. It's how you feel. I tell people, if you're at listen, let's go to the semaglutide route. Week 1 to week 4 is a 1/4 milligram. Week 5 to week 9 or to week 8 is a 1/2 milligram. At 9 to 12 is a milligram. 13 to 17 is 1.7, and then 2.4. That's what Big Pharma has seen great at. Okay, if I have a patient that's losing good weight at a 1/2 milligram weekly, why am I moving him? No, because Big Pharma said so, and they're going to push it down your throat. No, that's where we step in and say, no, because that's where we differentiate ourselves from it. So if I could tell somebody how and what to do, in a sense, we are putting all sorts of educational, we have recipes, we have all sorts of stuff that we're putting in our portal to help people on the nutritional side. But I think more than anything, it's understanding, hey, what you possibly could endure starting this little program. Because I think everyone's mindset's got to be set for the following, Alan. How long are you going to take this for? That's something I tell people. You're not on this for life. I personally tell people this is a 4 to 6 month window. It all depends on where you're at, So everyone might be a little different. If it's got to be an 8-month window, that's fine. But it's, I've had some people say, I quit, I stopped. Why? The guy down the street, barber. So I lost 26 pounds in 7 weeks and freaked out. I get it. Yeah. What do you have to tell you?
So let's take a step, because I really appreciated that you mentioned exercise. I talked offline a little bit, and you said you're an athlete, and we both agreed that it doesn't, even though you might not be competing, at a elite level, we're all athletes and living the life that we're trying to live and the fitness level that we need for our own selves. But one of the struggles that I have, and we see this with starvation studies, we see this with individuals who try to lose weight too quick, is they tend to jettison a good bit of muscle at the same time that they're getting rid of the body fat. So they're losing lean muscle mass, and in some cases that could even be bone density. So they're weighing less, but they're not losing what they thought they were losing. They're losing both. And so I see exercise and nutrition as critical components to make sure that this weight loss is geared more towards body fat than toward the whole body. What exercises do you think someone should be doing while they're going through this that will give them the best opportunity to lose what they actually want to lose, which is body fat, to get the right health outcome and actually end up stronger, better, fitter when this is all said and done?
Very good question. So you started off right out. You nailed it right off the head. I think we're all athletes in this. This isn't you. I mean, this is everyone being an athlete. This is the journey of life. This is getting up in the morning and wanting to challenge it. And that's how I say it starts in the morning. It's an everyday thing. We've seen it. Everybody's challenges are different. Everyone's lives are different. But exercise must be a critical thing. When I tell people about exercise, I make it simple. I don't want you to go join the gym. If you can't, God bless you. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're going to be lose weight faster or quicker. It's the determination you have every day to spend those extra few minutes. And let's go into something about exercise. And if you lose too much, weight, what you lose in muscle or density, it's very true. A little different for everybody. But two things you must understand. I talked about the components of nutrients and kind of the energy bars or protein bars. And that same thing with the smoothies and shakes like that. Those are also really good ones because you can put all sorts of stuff in that. And you don't need a big shake. You need a shake, and that's a meal supplement to a lot of this. But protein and the right intake. And let me say something real quick. Eating at home is critical. My friend, eating at home is critical. I travel this country all the time. There's fast food on every corner, everywhere. It's easy to eat fast food nowadays. I know it's tough when people say, "Oh, you don't understand what it costs." I get it. You know what our program cost to purchase? $5.66 a day for a 90-day program. I promise you, I'm trying to help you out. The amount of people that go out and spend $7, $10 on coffee a day is ridiculous. It's hard to eat at home all the time. People don't want to come home and cook. People want to make life a lot easier. And that's part of the challenge in losing weight. How do you break those habits? How do you change those habits? Losing body fat and muscle mass go hand in hand with the majority of the time. And you hear when people say, "Oh man, tired in the afternoons." I'm big into the peptide space. We do work with other peptides. So we do understand how this works. I'm a big individual into I got friends of mine that say, "Hey, Sergio, cheat out of life." Because, I've been on a couple different, peptide programs for on the BPC. BPC 157's done great for my gastric, for my intake, for my everything from my throat down, the rebuilding of muscle tissue, BPC 157 and TB 500. I'm a patient. I had surgery on my right shoulder, 3 screws, the whole 9 yards. I had my Achilles. I'm an athlete, but I've gone through the works, and I believe in peptides because I'm a results guy. I would be saying if I didn't get results myself. And I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I will tell you something. When people come to me and say, "I feel horrible, I feel like this," I tell them, "Really nice. Have you tried to make a change in life?" That's it. And it depends on that outcome, and that response is whether I jump in immediately. Because my thing is, how do I put a smile on that person's face? Because at the end of it all, it's about the attitude. If you got the wrong attitude, "I've been trying, nothing works. Let's give it another shot. Let's try it. I got some 60 days. We're going to do something." I'm working with a lot of athletes. I'm working with the guys at the Pivot. I'm working with the guys at a couple different places, and we're going to come up with something interesting because we are going to run a study. I am going to do some stuff that's fun. I like to make this fun. Losing weight is fun when you lose the weight, right? You know it. You're a personal trainer. You see the personal satisfaction that people get when they lose 2 pounds. People are like, "Oh, I don't see it." Whoa, look at my watch. Wow, yeah. It's areas that they don't see. And then all of a sudden, once they believe in themselves is the key. So let's go back just real quick. 2 things you went hand in hand is nutrition and exercise. They're critical. Is there a challenge in them when you lose a lot of weight? Yes. That is something that we must continue to educate, find individuals like yourself to be able to educate, the people out there that need that knowledge on how do I continue to build muscle? Because you know what? Yeah, you might get a little weaker, but help yourselves out. The stretching part of it. A lot of people say, I can't work out. Let's stretch. You stretch properly, you get a great workout. Once you start getting that blood flow, things change a little bit. And a lot of people say, hey, and I've learned this might be a dumb one, but they always say here, how do you grow like a big sense of energy boost in your life? Stand up and stretch. Lift up your shoulder, stand up. You understand that military style thing. It works for everybody. It works. It puts it, and then you're like, but that's fine. I don't have an answer. So if you see, I haven't given you a direct answer because I don't believe I have one. I don't know if there is one because everybody is different.
Yeah.
But if we educate them properly, I think we could win the battle of all of us helping people.
Sergio, I define wellness as being the healthiest, fittest, and happiest you can be. What are 3 strategies or tactics to get and stay well?
I love that. The first one is always I tell our people, are you committed? That's our first strategy is to commit yourself. If you are not committed to being the best person you could be, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting your energy. And then when people say, I'm doing it for, who are you doing this for? What are you doing this for? You have to do this for yourself because it's about feeling good. If you don't feel good, stop. That's why I've been in several businesses. They've all been in the same space primarily, but there's a personal satisfaction of asking people, how do you feel today? I feel great. That's a good feeling to get from people. So when you ask this, tactics and strategies for that is number 1 is commit yourself to it. Number 2 is make that plan, make that daily plan, write down those top 3 things that you're going to do. And people say it's dumb, it's stupid. Make that little to-do list. You're getting up in the morning. You're going to walk for 15 minutes. I'm going to eat 3 things. Do that. Commit yourself to it. You commit yourself to losing weight and you do this properly, it works. It's proven. This is a game changer in life. This isn't just it's a non-control. You need to exercise. This is the first time in our lifetime. I mean, obviously mine. And as I've grown up in this, because I've been involved in this 24 years, one way or another, that a doctor could write a prescription for this and say, hey, Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith, need to make sure you're exercising. Go exercise today. Start today. People are like, oh, I'm going to get dizzy, because it's very, you've always heard that exercise and medication. Woo, that's a problem. It's always been a problem. No, sir. In this, if a man, female, son, child, whatever it is, you want to lose weight, you must commit yourself to it. This is a booster. This is a helper. People say you're cheating. No, you're not cheating in life. If you need a little help, what's the problem? That's my strategy. How do you make your body feel better? How do you, like you said, how do you get up in the morning with a smile? I promise you, if I can help you lose a couple pounds, every week, will your life change? I have it all the time with people, all the time. And I'm pretty damn successful at it. So I think, strategies, commitment, plan A, plan B is that plan A doesn't fail. That's the commitment to losing weight and is following your habits, making sure you're eating a little bit and making sure you're exercising. And by the way, if you don't drink water, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. People are like, oh, I drink water. And the nutrients, we can feed the nutrients, but you need H2O to make this work. Because the amount of water you lose in muscle, and forget muscle mass, body fat is tremendous. Your body freaks out. I tell people, hey, I lost, whatever it is, 7 pounds, 8 pounds. How much water are you drinking? No, 8 glasses of water. you lost 10 pounds and you haven't increased your intake of water. You've decreased it? No, let's increase it. And this goes back to where we started, Alan. Education. Let's educate our patients. Let's educate our people. How do we make America healthy? Let's make people healthy. There's nothing worse than when I travel around, I see people that aren't healthy. And the worst that hurts me is when I see younger kids that aren't healthy. We can help. There's help today. There's help. I couldn't say that.
Thank you, Sergio.
Couldn't say this a while ago.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So if someone wanted to learn more about you and MD Exam, where would you like for me to send them?
You can send them directly to start.mdexam.com or go to mdexam.com.
All right.
There's plenty of information there, and someone could always reach out to me directly at sergio@mdexam.com, and yeah, I'll make time. 100%.
Okay. Well, you can go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/614, and I'll be sure to have the links there.
Thank you very much.
Sergio, thank you for being a part of 40 Plus Fitness.
Alan, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys got something out of this, and I can help you guys lose weight, feel great. Thank you again, Alan.
Thank you. Welcome back, Raz.
Hey, Alan. This was really a very helpful educational interview about these amazing weight loss drugs that are being marketed these days, because I see these commercials. I see them every day. Ozempic, Wegovy, Rybelsus, Mounjaro. I just saw that one this morning. I've been really wondering about what these things are, and it was interesting to have this education and listen to one of the manufacturers talk about how they work and what they're good for. So it was pretty interesting, but I do have some feelings on these things, as I imagine you do as well.
I do. Everybody wants the easy button.
Mm-hmm.
They want that. Let me just do this, and then it solves the problem, and then I don't have to think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to look at this and say, okay, what does this mean? I would choose this over surgery.
Yeah.
Every single time I would choose this over surgery. It's, I just would. There are side effects. And so if you're going to go this route, you need to do your research, because the side effects are not pleasant. And there are a lot of people that will start taking it and they cannot tolerate it and they get off of it. And so there's that. The other thing that happens here that, is really a struggle for me is that you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s. You're already losing muscle and bone. Okay. Sarcopenia and osteopenia. And if you don't manage your nutrition and exercise as a part of this program, you will lose it faster and you will become frail sooner. Okay. I want you to hear that. You will become frail. You will lose muscle mass and you will lose bone density. So enjoy the BMI while you sit in a dependent care facility, because you can't take care of yourself because you don't have the muscle mass or bone density to do so. So that being said, if you go at this responsibly, then you're going to understand that these things work by making you not hungry, meaning you're not going to eat. You will have to force yourself to eat what you do eat most of the time. You're just not going to be as hungry. If you're going to be hungry at all, it's going to be on the last couple days. It lasts about 7 days. That's the half-life of this whole thing. And so basically you'll take it, and for the first 3 or 4 days, you probably won't want to eat anything. You might even struggle to drink enough water. Okay. And then you're probably going to say, yeah, now I can eat a little bit. Okay. But if you do that, if you effectively starve yourself, you're going to lose muscle mass and bone density. So go at this with the mindset of lowest effective dose. Okay. If they recommend that you start increasing the dose, or you think increasing the dose is going to make this go faster, rethink that strategy.
Yeah.
Because you need protein, you need the building blocks. There are essential amino acids and essential oils in our diet. We have to get essential. Is not this thing where you're talking about the the essentials, like the essential oil stuff where it's just pure. These essential oils, essential fats, and essential amino acids in nutrition means your body cannot manufacture them. Okay. Your brain is 60% fat. You need these essential fats to have a healthy brain. You need these essential amino acids to build muscle and maintain muscle. So if you're not getting nutrition, you'll lose it. You'll lose your brain, you'll lose your muscle, and you'll lose your bones. Just
serious. Will. It's serious. And the phrase serious as a heart attack. And the reason why I say that is because if you're so severely obese or you have these comorbidities, this could be a tool in helping you lose the weight to become a healthier body, to have a healthier body. But patients need to realize that there's a big picture. There's a long game to this. And so losing weight can get you to a place, but also the nutrition, you need to eat properly. You need to have an ideal movement, no matter what your size is. You have to be able to move. So there's like a big picture. And this is just one very serious tool that could be deployed should somebody be a good candidate for it. But yeah, it's certainly not for everybody. And it is very serious.
Yeah. And so, yes, if you're obese or you've got comorbidities, this can be a great tool to help you drop some of that body fat. But it has to be done along with lifestyle changes. Because again, I've talked to people about this, that have started it or that have used it. I was talking to one guy, asked his results, and he was really excited about what had happened because he started a lifting regime. He managed his protein and nutrition, and then he used his product to basically lose body fat, and he felt great. He maintained his muscle mass, and he lost weight. And so for him, it was a wonderful tool. Now, one of the other sides of this thing is eventually the intention is you go off of this. Okay. This is, I'm looking at it, you see different prices, but we're talking $1,500 a week.
My goodness.
So you do the math, that's more than $6,000 a month.
Oh.
Okay. Now, is it worth investing that for this? And for a lot of people, maybe it is. Yes. Okay. You're going to invest over $6,000 a month to do this, but there's going to be a time when you go off of it. Unless you're just weird and you just want to keep paying that money and going when you need to. But you're going to probably go off of it. And if you haven't made the lifestyle changes, then you're going to be that friend. You saw the person that got the bariatric surgery. Yeah, they lost 80 pounds and then gained 100 back because they went back and they stretched the stomach out again, eating the way that they were eating before. They weren't getting the nutrition because they were eating crap food. Their body kept telling them, eat more, eat more. You didn't get what we need, eat more. And they answered with eating more of the crap versus getting the nutrition their body needed. And so you've got to make some nutritional changes and be ready for that, not just while you're doing it, but the whole time. So again, you can maintain the loss. A lot of people love to go out exercise and think that's the way you're going to lose weight. No, but exercise can be a key to maintaining weight loss.
Well, you've seen it, Alan, with all the clients that you've had over the years. You've seen it how when people make changes in the kitchen and they combine that with exercise, and they combine that with adequate rest and recovery and sleep. There's a lot that goes into successful weight loss. And it's important to make all these changes in how you're eating, what you're eating, how you're moving, when you're moving, as well as utilizing tools like bariatric surgery or weight loss drugs like this, like serious weight loss drugs, not the junk you buy at the drugstore, because
I'm all jittery. I'm all jittery. I got to be losing weight. I'm all jittery. But but
it's a big picture. There's a lot that goes into this. This is just not a shot, just not one thing to do. There's a lot to this. It's like I said, it's a long game. You've got to look for, use this now, but how healthy are you going to be a month from now or 2 months from now or a year from now? There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
Not just a shot.
And the prices of this stuff will invariably go down over time, as they make more and then other versions of it come out. So the prices of this stuff will go down. But again, if this is a part of your strategy, it can't be all of your strategy. It has to be the rest of it. And so if you're thinking about this from being healthy, not just what you weigh, but being healthy, you need to be smart about it.
Yeah. I feel like, thank goodness this is a prescription, that you need a doctor's assistance or a prescription to get it. But it would be also important to have other experts on your team. Maybe spend some time with your nutritionist or some sort of an expert nearby, and also maybe get a trainer to help you in the gym. If you're going to go get to the doctor to get a shot, you might as well rely on some other experts to get you through this safely.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Have a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right. Well, Rachel, I'll talk to you next week.
Take care, Alan.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Next time on the 40 Plus Fitness podcast, we meet Dr. Alan Resnick and discuss his book, The Knee and Shoulder Handbook. Until then, have a happy and healthy week.